Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us during the Lytham Partners Spring 2024 Investor Conference. My name is Roger Weiss, and I'm a Vice President of Lytham Partners. In this presentation, we welcome Bitcoin Well, TSX Venture ticker symbol BTCW, and OTCQB symbol BCNWF. And with us today is their founder and CEO, Adam O'Brien. Before we begin, I want to remind everyone that management is available for one-on-one meetings later this week. If you've not already signed up, then please send me an email at weiss@lythampartners.com or visit www.lythampartners.com/spring2024 and click on the one-on-one meeting request button. All right, Adam, please take it away.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Roger. And hello, everyone. I'm looking forward to telling you briefly about Bitcoin Well and how we exist to enable independence, and then what the business is behind that mission to enable independence. As Roger said, we are currently publicly traded on the TSXV in Canada and the OTCQB down in the USA. There's four key things that I want everyone, if you hear nothing else today, to take away from this. The first is that we have an ecosystem of both online and in-person products that couple the convenience of modern banking with the benefits of Bitcoin. Modern banking is fantastic. We're able to tap our phone to pay for things, send money peer-to-peer, send money internationally, able to invest in different organizations like Bitcoin Well through stock trading platforms, able to take on debt and mortgages and lending and credit cards and spending. There's all kinds of things that are fantastic about the modern banking system. However, they're all not able to use Bitcoin. We don't have an underlying asset like Bitcoin within that modern banking. And Bitcoin Well is here to bridge that gap. Bitcoin Well is going to make it just as easy to use Bitcoin as you currently use your money in your modern bank. We all know Bitcoin is the future of money, and that means that usability of Bitcoin is the future of banking. And so today we have a well-established cash flowing Bitcoin ATM unit. This means this separate business unit has been around for over 10 years. We have over 200 units across the country, and we'll talk more about the specifics in just a second. We just launched about 18 months ago in Canada and very recently in all 50 states in the USA, a high growth Bitcoin portal. This is a very high growth, scalable Bitcoin business unit that allows our customers to buy, sell, and use Bitcoin from the safety of their self-custody. The last key point that I think is very important as a differentiator between us and other publicly traded Bitcoin companies is that between management and the board, we have over 40 years of Bitcoin experience. We've been in this industry a long time. We are old dogs in this fight, and we know a lot, probably the most from any management and board team than any other organization in the industry. And we're excited to bring that expertise to fulfill this vision. And so what is the vision? This publicly traded Bitcoin super company. This concept is not new. This is actually borrowed most prominently from Mark Zuckerberg and Meta. We have Meta, which is a publicly traded communications or metaverse super company, and they have multiple different business units to achieve that. They have Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Oculus, and plenty of others that exist to feed up into that publicly traded super company. We are going to be the same thing, but with a unique niche inside Bitcoin. The Bitcoin industry, and specifically the money moving or the banking industry, has plenty of different ways to interact. There are, as I've been saying, peer-to-peer and actually using the money on a retail level. But there's all kinds of media, education, different international remittances, different ways to use like merchant services. The Bitcoin and payments industry is massive with tons of different niches, and Bitcoin Well wants to be a head of the Bitcoin publicly traded super company with all the different business units underneath. As I mentioned earlier, we have our Bitcoin ATMs and we have our Bitcoin portal, and we'll be adding to those separate business units down the line. And so the first business unit, Bitcoin ATMs, we have just about 200 across Canada. These ATMs charge 10 to 20% transaction fee to the customers. The key here is that we have internal software. We have unique proprietary software that only exists on our Bitcoin ATMs that gives us a maximum ecosystem advantage. What that advantage is giving us the first foray into making this banking platform. As you know, with your modern bank, you have access to thousands of ATMs around the world. Bitcoin Well is going to employ a similar model where right now the ATMs are the bedrock, the main driver of cash flow inside the business. And eventually, those will transition to being a supporting business unit to the Bitcoin portal. The Bitcoin portal is our second business unit. This is a non-custodial Bitcoin platform. We're going to touch on that in just a second. This has been live in Canada since November of 2022 and went live in the USA in September of 2023. Most notably, we are now live in all 50 states, including New York, in the USA, which is a massive feat thanks to our non-custodial business practices. The Bitcoin portal charges a 1% transaction fee. This is a low margin, high scale, high revenue, high growth business unit. As of the middle of April, we had over 16,000 unique signups. Just this morning, we announced with our Q1 financials that we have over 17,850 unique users signed up to that Bitcoin portal. Now, self-custody. It's bolded here. I've been talking about non-custodial Bitcoin platforms. What does that mean? Very simply put, this means that no user can leave Bitcoin on our platform. Now, this is the safest way to buy Bitcoin. Said a different way, if FTX had handled in a non-custodial Bitcoin practice, there would have been no funds lost. If Bitcoin Well were to unplug all of our servers right now, shut everything down, website inaccessible, there would be zero customer Bitcoin that are lost. This is a key differentiator and the obvious safest way to use Bitcoin here in 2024. Bitcoin gives you the advantage. Bitcoin gives you the opportunity to hold your money with yourself, full control over your money. And Bitcoin Well empowers their customer to use Bitcoin to the fullest potential. I want to touch some on the market cycles and our strategy throughout these market cycles. It's no secret that Bitcoin is volatile. It's no secret that Bitcoin follows a halving cycle, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. But I want to touch on how Bitcoin Well responds and builds through those cycles. As you can see in 2017, this was the previous all-time high for Bitcoin. We had pretty solid revenue for that time. Throughout the bear market, we then built and we saw revenues decline a little bit and we spent our time and our energy building the next thing. What that next thing was the ability to onboard large, high net worth individuals. This was done in 2020 and then we took advantage in 2021 as the price of Bitcoin grew. What we didn't do properly during that building session was give ourselves the ability to scale and scale up. We locked ourselves to a small number of niche individuals that required hand-holding, mostly in person. We weren't able to scale. Then through 2022 and 2023, we've been building the Bitcoin portal. This is a high growth, high scale business unit, one that is now multi-country. It's live in 2 countries, poised to grow and expand into more countries further down the line. We are hopeful that this investment over the last 2 years in the Bitcoin portal is going to help us reap maximum and take maximum advantage of the newly increased price of Bitcoin. And so when will that happen? The Bitcoin halving, it can be understood that the Bitcoin halving sets the pace for the rise of the price of Bitcoin. Every roughly 4 years, the amount of Bitcoin that comes into circulation gets cut in half. And basic supply and demand economics dictate that when supply gets cut and demand even just maintains or increases, the price of that unit increases. This is why Bitcoin increases on a 4-year market cycle. We see the all-time high, the dip, and then the growth over the next few years. The dip, and then now we're into the growth for the next few years. Bitcoin Well is poised to take advantage of that growth. We can see that in the way that the Bitcoin portal has been growing. As I told you, we launched in all 50 states in February 2024. To celebrate that launch, we also made key partnerships in the Bitcoin media space. The first one with a group called Simply Bitcoin. They are the #1 daily Bitcoin news show. They boast over 1 million views per month, and we are the lead title sponsor. Every single show is brought to you by Bitcoin Well. The hosts of the show talk about Bitcoin Well multiple times per episode and multiple times per day on their personal Twitter accounts. Then in March, we launched a partnership with BTC Sessions. He is the #1 Bitcoin educator who's been making videos helping people onboard to Bitcoin in a self-custody environment since 2016. We are the perfect platform for him to be talking about and helping his clients onboard to Bitcoin Well. Part of these marketing initiatives is what's been driving the growth, and we've been seeing maximum ultimate success from the ability to have a scalable business unit in the Bitcoin portal. Here we're touching on some of the different comparisons between some competitors you might know, like Coinbase and Netcoins, which is the subsidiary of Big, another publicly traded Bitcoin company here in Canada. The key difference here and where you're going to find the biggest gap is that with Bitcoin Well, the user, the customer controls the Bitcoin and the money. This is not true of Coinbase, not true of Netcoins, not really true of any other Bitcoin company in North America. Bitcoin Well also enables their customer to pay their bills and their credit cards with Bitcoin. We are here to make Bitcoin usable. We are here to make Bitcoin in self-custody, easy, cheap, and secure to use. This is the key differentiation between Bitcoin Well and other trading platforms or other platforms that employ a multi-crypto, multifaceted approach. We are here to make it easy to use Bitcoin, which we know is sound money. Of course, at Bitcoin Well, you can buy and sell Bitcoin, you have cash accounts, and you're able to spend your Bitcoin easily. I want to touch quickly on the customer journey. There's 4 key aspects to a customer journey at bitcoinwell.com. The first is the initial awareness. This is done through the partnerships that I've just described, the partnerships with media platforms that I've described, as well as some digital advertising, and of course, customer referral, which is what brings this full loop. Once they hear about us, we are a quick path to onboarding. You can onboard at Bitcoin Well with a 2-minute verification, and then within 30 seconds, make that first purchase. Next, why they come back. A customer does that again and again and again because it's easier. Finally, Bitcoin Well has cracked the code and made it easy to use Bitcoin in a non-custodial environment. What this means is you can actually make a purchase without having to log in to the platform. Because we are experts and automatically convert dollars to Bitcoin and Bitcoin to dollars, we employ and give customers the ability to send money from their bank and receive Bitcoin into their self-custody instantly. A customer doesn't actually have to log in to make that transaction. This makes us the fastest and easiest way to use, buy, and sell Bitcoin. And then lastly, why do they tell their friends? This is the key for really any fintech company, but especially one in the Bitcoin industry, because this is such a high trust environment. I don't want to trust just any fly-by-night organization. We know that Bitcoin and the industry has kind of a tough name. We make it very, very easy for a customer to put their name behind us because we follow hardcore Bitcoin ethos, because we are non-custodial, because we are the safest platform to buy and sell Bitcoin, and a user is not exposed to the decisions or the security on our platform. It is a no-brainer, logical decision to influence and give your friends the ability to transact at Bitcoin Well. We also will be introducing gamification and rewards for the referrals that customers make to their friends. The first time we did this was done with the Bitcoin Jackpot contest, which we launched in Q1 of this year. It was a tremendous success that gave us the right, or that was a proof of concept to push down this line of gamification of referrals. Next, we'll be employing a wishing well. This is going to give customers the ability to refer their friends to earn points, and then with those points, redeem coins to throw into a virtual wishing well. This is playing on the nostalgia of our key target market, which is 25 to 40-year-old males. little bit about the team. We have myself and Jason as CEO and CFO, Chantel and James driving operations and product. The key here is the board of directors and the team sharing over 40 years of Bitcoin experience. Our cap structure is as follows. We have about 214 million outstanding shares, fully diluted. That's 269 million outstanding shares with options primarily for the team and our advisors and warrants going into previous financing. In the bottom here, you can see warrants were issued at 18 cents, 5 cents, and then 27.5 cents based on recent financing. Options done at 10 cents, 14 cents, and 12 cents to the team. The key point here, it is my opinion that we should put our money where our mouths are. Insider ownership is over 50% of the Bitcoin Well cap table. I personally am over 40% of Bitcoin Well ownership. I am ready to be here for the next 30 years. I am very passionate about our mission to enable independence. I obviously believe that Bitcoin is the #1 tool to help individuals become independent. And I plan on borrowing again from Mark Zuckerberg, quote unquote, Mark Zuckerberging this thing and being here for the next couple of decades. Lastly, to round out, I want to talk about a unique opportunity, a unique catalyst that exists within our industry and because of our two unique but accretive business units. We have cash flow from the Bitcoin ATMs. Currently, we invest that cash flow into the Bitcoin portal. The Bitcoin portal then grows because it's high growth and accretive growth. We are able to then capture a beneficial share price from that growth. So we have cash flow driving users driving share price. We can then take advantage by using that share price to buy more cash flow of the Bitcoin ATMs. We can do so in a very accretive way because we have this other business unit. As we acquire more cash flow, we get more users and more growth, and then we're able to have a higher share price and have that cycle repeat. Here are some of the M&A potential that we've identified with a small, medium, and large. We are able to see a full path to winding and rolling up the entire Bitcoin ATM industry, which gives us maximum cash flow, which allows us to grow at light speed on the Bitcoin portal. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks again to Roger and the team at Lytham Partners, and I look forward to having you join the mission to enable independence.
That was great. If I may, can I ask you a couple of questions, maybe just to follow on your presentation?
Of course.
Why does the company only operate in Bitcoin? Aren't you leaving money on the table, as it were?
Yes, good question. There are two schools of thought here. When you employ a strategy that is kind of altcoin or Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, it requires a lot of operational upkeep. You have to effectively integrate with every single blockchain that those tokens run on. You run the risk of investing resources into tokens that only are around for a few months. You miss the quote unquote meme cycles. And I don't think you develop a good customer relationship. You end up becoming a degenerate gambling platform rather than a sound money platform, which is what we are trying to become. I think on the secondary, though, and the most real example for our shareholders would be the regulatory headaches that come alongside with operating inside of a altcoin platform. Because we are Bitcoin only and because we are non-custodial, we are very clean from a regulatory perspective. We need an MSB in Canada, we need an MSB in the USA. Every single time we look at expanding our jurisdictional reach, it becomes very apparent that this Bitcoin only non-custodial model is the right one.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. Let me turn to competition a little bit. How difficult would it be for another platform to pivot from a custodial model to a non-custodial inventory model like you guys have?
Never say never. I think, though, operating a non-custodial model is completely the opposite as operating a custodial model. The nuance there is that the way a custodian works is a customer deposits funds and another customer deposits Bitcoin. Those two then can make a trade, and then the user can withdraw the funds and the other customer can withdraw the Bitcoin that was just purchased. They don't typically hold Bitcoin in inventory, which is the first barrier. But the second barrier is that their entire process revolves around deposit, trade, withdrawal, deposit, trade, withdrawal. Bitcoin Well, under a non-custodial model, flips that around. We don't have deposits. We don't have withdrawals. We don't even really have trades. We just have buys. We have buys and we have sells. The same way buying stocks is different than buying a pair of hockey skates at your local hockey store. When you walk into the hockey store, you put your money on the table, you take the box of skates, and you leave. When you buy stocks, you deposit funds, you wait for a trade to happen, and then you make that withdrawal or you trade it back. It's just two fundamentally different models. Like I said, never say never. However, the way that we've built this platform is to thrive in a non-custodial environment. The way that everyone else has built their platforms is to thrive in a custodial environment. And changing that would be a massive shift to the infrastructure that they've built.
Right. It makes perfect sense. One last question. What are the near-term catalysts that you see for the company right now?
I think the M&A that I spoke about briefly is a catalyst that will exist forever, or at least until we've successfully rolled up the industry, because we've got this publicly traded Bitcoin super company that we can take advantage of. I think more specifically, without making acquisitions, our product that we're releasing over the next few months is very exciting. We've just announced the successful integration of the Lightning infrastructure, which makes it very easy for users to make payments via the Lightning Network, which is a secondary layer to Bitcoin. But what that also enables us to do is offer Lightning swaps. What this means is someone trading their token from the main blockchain into the Lightning Network and back. I believe there is an opportunity for global Lightning swaps very, very quickly on the Bitcoin Well platform. This will enable us to capture customers worldwide and identify different pockets of customers that will start to exist inside of our ecosystem. This will then allow us to pick and choose strategically the right jurisdiction for us to expand in with our fiat or dollar rails in the future. And so I think that we're starting to get the level of brand awareness and product development that will allow us to expand internationally very, very quickly, and then identify where to grow and expand that reach that we've just expanded.
Very good. Well, Adam, again, thank you for joining us at the conference, getting us up to speed on Bitcoin Well and what you guys are up to. I need to say to anyone out there who is not already signed up for a Bitcoin Well 101, please send me an email at weiss@lythampartners.com, or go to our website, www.lythampartners.com/spring2024, and click on the one-on-one meeting request button. Again, we hope everybody enjoys the conference, and thank you again.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Roger.
You're very welcome. Thanks, Adam.